Hello everyone and welcome back to another Firefly Studios video. This week we have a very special edition of Stronghold and Chill for you with new member of the team, Natasha. How are you doing, Natasha?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very well. It's Monday morning. I've just had my coffee, so I'm now in the flow, I feel, ready to play some Stronghold. Usually with new members of the team, I allow them a couple of months to settle in before I force them in front of a camera. But the fact is that Natasha here is a new member of our marketing team, working primarily in community management. So I thought it would be a good idea to introduce her to you guys through the form of Stronghold and Chill. Gameplay wise, we've got a 1v1 Kingmaker session with Olaf Grimtooth, as you can see here. He's already got Siege Force against me going here, so that's not great. But we'll deal with him in a second. Are you ready to jump into question one?
Yes.
Let's get to it. So before I begin building up my siege force in an attempt to overthrow the Viking overlord over here, could you give us some context into what you'll be doing here at the studio, what your day-to-day tasks will be, and how you'll be interacting with the community?
Ooh, good question. So a community manager is basically here to communicate with you, the fans of the game, people who are actively playing it, people who are interested in playing it, people who are no longer playing it, just basically meant to be getting out there, talking to you, finding out what your feedback is, trying to get us sharing all of our favourite Stronghold moments. And
I think one's playing out in real time right now, you know.
And basically just getting on all the social media and hanging out with you guys, basically. That's mostly what I'll be doing, but there's a lot more nuances to it that, you know, sound really fancy and stuff, but basically I'm just going to be hanging out on Twitter.
Nice. Well, yeah, so recently, or the last couple of years, me and Nick have been doing that primarily, but obviously Nick's got communication stuff to do, I've got like video stuff to do, so while we have tried to sort of interact with the community on a day-to-day basis, obviously sometimes it's just fallen by the wayside, while it's a super important thing, especially for an indie studio. So yes, Natasha here will be doing or taking over, especially for me, like in the YouTube comments and stuff like that, just so we have someone actually there being able to talk to you guys on a permanent basis, on a day-to-day basis, rather than me just being like, doing a ton of video stuff and then maybe 15 minutes at the end of the day.
Yeah, maybe some comments every now and again.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll be pretty much posting every day, going through comments on all the social media platforms pretty much as often as I can, looking at your reviews and comments on, you know, Steam and app stores and things like that, and just sort of collating any sort of feedback and just chatting as well.
To give a member of our fan base some context into what a typical day for a community manager would be, if someone has no idea what a community manager would do in a single day, what would you say that would be?
Difficult question. I've not been here too long yet, and I've only been sort of doing community management on a kind of a part-time basis. So this will be like my first proper full-time community management position.
Exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. And so most of my day-to-day will vary pretty massively depending on what's happening within the studio and also what's happening on the internet, and what you guys are saying. But general day would be like, come in, you know, check my emails, drink about 8 cups of coffee, and then I just get a million tabs open with all of the social media things up, because we have quite a lot, and just go through the messages, notifications, and sort of highlight anything important that needs to be addressed, and then just sort of going through them and making sure I'm actually engaging with you guys, and so you know someone's actually there reading your stuff. And then making new content a lot of the time, so making up new things to post on everything, just so you remember that we exist. And yeah, going through reviews and going through the metrics to see if anything major has changed, I guess. But that's like sort of a general day, I guess. Content, social media, caffeine.
Nice. Those are the 3 staples in any community manager's life. So, as you said, this is sort of a newer role for you. So what were you doing like beforehand, or before you joined the studio? I hear you had quite a lot of odd jobs down the years.
Yeah, I've had kind of a weird career. I've done a bunch of random stuff. Yeah, I've got a very strange background. I was even an actress for a little while, and I was fairly convinced I was going to get into voice acting, which I might still do, who knows, but...
Oh yeah, I don't think it's like, you know, you hear about, talk about actors, you hear about like, I think Josh Brolin started acting when he was like 32 or something like that, so you know, it's never too late, it's never too late. So with all that said, did you always want to be in video games, or in, obviously, you know, being air hostess and stuff like that, maybe it wasn't at the forefront of your mind, but maybe like a little plant in the back?
I suppose it's kind of like one of those weird things where it's, the answer is yes and no,
Okay.
Which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I sort of veered back to video games through the copywriting thing, I guess. When I was doing a little bit of copywriting, I was doing some game reviews and some, you know, cheesy listicles and things like that. Yeah. I mean, not cheesy, they were like stellar writing, obviously. But
obviously.
A lot of the time before then, I kind of just figured it was either coder or nothing.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand there were all these different things you could be doing in the video game industry. I was always just like, oh, I can't do 3DR and I can't do coding, so oh well.
You're talking to a videographer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so now that we've sort of interrogated your past career and your mental psyche around video games, we'll go for some more relaxed questions. So could you tell us your favourite game of all time?
My favourite game of all time?
Yes.
Difficult question. Mine is a little bit controversial. It's kind of one of those games where, like, if I say it, some people might just like close the YouTube video. It's Dragon Age 2.
Okay.
Which I know some people are going to be like, what?
Yeah.
And straight away just be like, she doesn't know anything about video games. I think it's the best one out of the series. I love all of them, but the Dragon Age 2 is my favourite one because it's a lot more about the political and the economic and the social situation of the world, which a lot of games don't really get a lot of chance to really delve into. And particularly even in Dragon Age, the first and the third one are all kind of like, there's an almighty evil bad guy, let's go kill him. And what I really like about Dragon Age 2, that there is like still bad guys and stuff, but it kind of veers off of that. And it deals more about what it's like to be just a normal regular Joe trying to get by in a sort of post-war society, I guess.
A bit more relatable and human. So this leads well onto my next question. So would that be your most like highest number of hours played ever in Dragon Age 2? Or?
No, Christ, no. I mean, I like Dragon Age 2. I've replayed it a couple of times, but no. I guess I've got the most hours in Overwatch at the moment. I think we checked the other day, and it's over 1,000, about over 1,100 hours.
I'm sure many Stronghold fans out there have more of that in just Stronghold, so I'm sure you're in good company. You're in good company. Okay, so while I finally see... Oh, I don't think so. I think the last time we did this, I mean, we did do this one time before, and he did have a lot less troops, so I'm a bit more nervous. But no, while I attempt to send in my siege force and overthrow Olaf here, could you tell us what you'll be doing after this interview?
What I'll be doing after this? I'm still working on some massive audit of all the social media channels at the moment. I'm basically just going through absolutely everything we have, like from Facebook pages to Twitter accounts to Reddit to Steam, everything, seeing wherever we have any kind of presence, and just doing an audit of, you know, where I think we are on that platform, who I think our audience is, who is engaging with the content, what content is doing well, going through and forming an opinion, I suppose.
Okay, cool. Yes, hopefully what I kind of do want to touch on what this might mean for your average Stronghold player listening. And it's like, while me and Nick have done our best to sort of keep putting out content and every single week to keep you guys updated, with Natasha here now, I feel like there's going to be a bit more strategy in place, and you know there'll be like, you know, hopefully a lot more of your guys' requests and comment sections and stuff like that will be actually answered, rather than, you know, me and Nick sometimes admittedly winging it and hoping for the best, because you kind of think there's game dev, right? Sometimes you have to do that. Okay, so it looks like this is going to go well. Just sending my knights in, and as hopefully they dispose of this pesky Viking. I'll just say thank you to Natasha for joining me for this Stronghold and Chill episode. It's only your technically 5th day in the studio.
Yep.
So I appreciate you jumping in front of the camera so early on, even though you probably have 1,000 things to do. Yay. There it is, there's the victory. And of course, we do have Stronghold Next stuff coming up, Roman's Age of Caesar stuff coming up. So if you want to stay updated on both those games, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But for now, we will leave you with this glorious victory and see you next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. for another Firefly Studios video.